first current issue in ELT is implementing online ELT in the time of crisis, order, or opportunity. In response to the coronavirus outbreak in January 2020, the Ministry of Education in China announced the postponement of the 2020 spring semester for all schools and colleges, and issue guidelines for online teaching and learning as temporary measures to bridge the gap until school could reopen. There are several experiences as an ELT teacher at a college in China. The first felt related to the virtual learning environment of VLE designed by the university. To solve these problems, some external applications were used to complement the system. For instance, use Tencent Meeting or a cloud-based video conferencing app in China, and WeChat or a very popular social app in China for video calls and texting. And the third fault was that it's inevitably superficial, and such a learning environment leads to more alienation between students and instructors. The second about challenge ELT in 21st century. In this journal, discuss how this challenge affects us today, as well as present balanced approaches that benefit learning institutions and systems while also positioning teachers as the most significant contributors and change makers to student success. The first challenge is resistance to change in methodologies and materials. For example, many institutions are asking teachers to modify traditional methodologies and implement blended or completely online learning. Teachers must be proficient in a variety of information processing activities, as well as have the know-how to effectively teach the type of 21st century global communication record and international language. Because the concept of communication itself has shifted and print media continues to decline as digital increases, the 21st century demands change. For most, change brings up a mixture of negative and positive feelings. On the one hand, it tends to bring up fear, defiance, and even panic. On the other, it can excite and energize. For ELT professionals, change does all this and more. The second challenge is limited access and lack of resources. A lack of resources in the language learning classroom is not unique to the 21st century, but this challenge seems to have intensified in recent times due to the pressing need for technology tools and reliable access to internet-based communication within the English language classroom. Telecommunication has become increasingly important across all ELT contexts. Teachers ask students to interact, access information, and share information on their phones. And the third challenge is classroom management issue and decreasing student engagement. This model provides students with opportunities to simultaneously learn 21st century English language and employability skills, as well as use platforms and materials relevant to their modern lives. They also connect international students and migrant learners with far-away families and friends, allowing them to quickly resolve family matters and maintain a culturally derived sense of self. The next current issue in ELT is use of YouTube vlog in English language teaching. The major finding of the study contributes to the field of teacher cognition and social media integrated learning is that the decision-makings of EFL teachers to use YouTube vlog in teaching English vocabularies and expression and gen-based text in the classroom are affected by the mental whips of the EFL teachers. Thus are the beliefs towards the implication of YouTube vlog in one-word learning and teaching, the pedagogical contents knowledge and the knowledge of student characteristics and learning style, and the thinking towards the nature of learning using YouTube vlog. In addition, the studies shed light new knowledge on present teacher cognition and social media integrated learning research that pedagogical perspective of social media use. How to integrate the social media with the subject matter of one-word learning and the components of social media with student characteristics and learning style are two dominant factors propelling the instructional choice of language teachers to use social media in their teaching practice. The next about English language teaching in Bangladesh today, issue, outcomes, and implication. This journal discussed the key issues linked with ELT in Bangladesh by reviewing relevant concurrent literature. Based on the thematic discussion above, several implications emerged concerning English language education in the country and future research. English in Bangladesh is significant in many ways. In order to supply the global demands of skilled workforce, English language proficiency is imperative. However, for the achievement of enhanced English language proficiency, an inclusionary approach such as scraping Bangla and other ethnic languages from language planning is never desirable. Therefore, this research calls for adopting a global approach in providing approach linguistic attention to mother tongue and English, where Bangla and other indigenous languages would hold the root of the culture in terms of language practice in education and society, while English will provide the nation more opportunity in the global stage. The next current issue in ELT is webinars in developing teaching skill of the English language teachers. Importance of webinars and their influence of developing teaching skill of the English language teachers. First of all, the importance of technology has been discussed thoroughly. Then, the internet and its advantages have been presented profoundly. Later, the definition of a webinar has been exhaustively discussed. After that, the essential elements of a webinar have been given comprehensively. The focal process of a webinar have been worked out in a systematic way. Moreover, the influence of webinars in developing teaching skill of the ELT teachers have been elaborated in detail. Finally, the teachers of English language have been given valuable guidance in utilizing the webinars not only to enhance their knowledge and teaching skill, but also to develop their learning skill. Since webinars on ELT provide the latest information to the teachers of English to update their knowledge and teaching skill, they are more useful in the modern classroom. The sixth of current issue is addressing the challenge in teaching English. There are two things we must accept. The first is that teaching English as a second language, especially in the rural areas, is tough. In many of these homes, they hardly use English. They lack the opportunity and the motivation to use English outside the classroom. Another challenge is that we are in rapidly changing time. For example, not many teachers are comfortable letting go of control. This thinking is very traditional and doesn't appeal to the current generation of students. Students these days are used to learning on their own terms, including via the computer. When you impose methods they are not comfortable with it, they might not respond as expected. Some teachers can be very hardworking, but their methods do not appeal to students or meet student expectations. If teachers lack technology literacy, which is a tool for teaching and learning, and technology literacy is higher among students, teachers could feel threatened. The issue of respect then comes in. So, the teacher has to continually improve to be confident and acquire skills and knowledge to teach students. What is new now may be outdated tomorrow. The last point current issue in ELT is how to solve 5 common problems faced by teachers in teaching English language ESL in classroom. Number 1 is managing your ESL classroom. To make rules clear to the students, consider posting them somewhere visible from every angle in the classroom, such as near the whiteboard. When students are acting out, have them identify which role they are making to facilitate understanding. Some good rules for a starter classroom are: be on time, come to class prepared, work together, respect your teacher, and have fun. As an ESL teacher, don't be afraid of having fun in the classroom. Here are 4 ways to remain student focused. Number 1 is activities. The second is stop and review, and then consider the levels. And the last is avoid excessive teacher talk time. The second problem is cultivating student engagement in the classroom. Grouping or pairing students of varying levels allows students to work through problems together. Students with lower proficiency in speaking are able to communicate with their partner in L1 when needed. Here are some rules for choose student pairs. Number 1 is choose group randomly, and then pair complementary personalities. And then consistently check in students, and the last is use randomization methods. The next problem is communicating with parents. Here are some steps to creating positive parent-teacher relationship. Have a parent-teacher's game plan. By being prepared for parent-teacher meetings, you will save yourself and the parents' valuable time. Be clear and concise with people who may not have the best skill English. And the last is impress the parents with organization. The next problem is clarifying ESL contract negotiation. Here are questions to ask during contract negotiation. Is there a non-compete agreement? Will they provide housing arrangement or assistance? And then, do they provide a travel allowance? And the last problem is solving personal problems teacher face. 3 ways to help your parent-teacher transition. Provide a pod pick-up for your teachers. The second is establish workplace routines. And the last is planning social events for teachers.